This is TNT, bringing you the thrill of NASCAR, the drama of the PGA Grand Slam, and the excitement of the NBA. This is TNT.
TNT Sports presents NASCAR. Today, it's the NASCAR Busch Series from Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox. Spectacular day here in Kansas City. Sunshine, temperature in the mid-70s. It's 200 laps, 300 miles for the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series. Matt Kenseth is on the pole, 43 drivers getting ready to go. Let's take you trackside here at the Kansas Speedway and join the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Cass County Civil Air Patrol presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Kansas City Raceway Ministries' Cole Cochran offers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Father God, thanks for this day. I pray for those racing, both drivers and crews. May they arrive safely at race's end. May that safety cover those of us watching as well. May we remember your promise to be with us always and everywhere. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
And now, please join Kansas City, Missouri's own Jessica Horn in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
Speedway today, ready to see the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series go 300 miles. Hi everybody, Bill Weber along with Wally Dollaback and Kyle Petty with us again this week. Glad you had us in for the race. Our partner Benny Parsons continues his treatment for lung cancer. Benny's taking this weekend off, but he'll be back with us next Sunday at Talladega. Kyle, about an hour and 45 minutes for the next Nextel Cup guys on the track this morning. What's the track like?
It's constantly changing. Our first practice was 8:30 to 9:30. Our second practice, we went from 10 o'clock to right at 11 o'clock. Every time you go out, you get your car just right. More guys run, more rubber on the track. The track's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And with the times they run today or the laps they run today, it's going to get more snug by the end of the day.
There are 6 of the drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship qualified in the top 10 for this race. So they're doing a little homework this afternoon.
Absolutely. As Kyle said, the track is changing. It's going to be a lot warmer when the Cup race starts tomorrow. So although the line may be at the bottom or the middle right now, I think by the end of this race, these guys are going to move up to the top. And that's what everybody's probably, the guys that aren't in the race today, they're watching, because the guys that are watching are going to see where that line is going to go, and they're going to see how these changes are made to these cars to see what they need to do for tomorrow.
And we'll see how patient these drivers can be. 10 cautions in this race 1 year ago. As Wally talked about, the weather could be a huge factor during happy hour. It was 68 degrees. Tomorrow, when the Nextel Cup drivers take the green flag, the temperature could be near 90 degrees. We'll see how it all plays out. The stars going to their cars, and when we come back to Kansas, we'll have the command. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. NASCAR Busch Series racing from the Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox, is brought to you by the Marine. October 13th, only in theaters. By the Men of the Square and Miller Lite, good call. And by New York Life, the company you keep.
Scores his first win here on the Monster Mile.
No giving up on that young man. Kansas native Clint Boyer got the win last week at Dover. Now races in front of the hometown fans today at the Kansas Speedway. Jeff Burton, the rest of the drivers getting ready for this afternoon's race. Let's go down trackside and get the command.
And now, for the words you've all been waiting for, please welcome the president and CEO of Yellow Transportation, James Welch.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the 43 cars roar to life here at Kansas, and we are less than 8 minutes away from the green flag this afternoon at the Kansas Speedway. When we come back, we'll have the starting grid take you for a sweep of pit road, and we'll drop the green flag here on TNT. Bye. Take a look at the Busch Series Championship standings. After 29 races here in 2006, Kevin Harvick's lead over second place of 699 points, the largest point margin over second place, with 6 races remaining in the history of the Busch Series. And they begin to roll off of pit road. Let's take a look at the starting grid for today's race. Matt Kenseth on the pole. One of those Childress guys. Jeff Burton outside of row 1. Then it's Denny Hamlin, Reed Sorensen, Kyle Busch, and Carl Edwards. You can see some of the chasers here with the good qualifying spots. Kevin Harvick is in row 4 along with David Rudiman. Clint Boyer back in row 5, Casey Kane. Row 6, Kenny Wallace and Augie Vidovich. The car is rolling off of pit road. You take a look at the starting grid while he's on the radio.
Yeah, he may be trying to get his pit road speed right here, but we'll try to grab him. Hey, Clint, this is Wally up in the booth. Can you hear me?
I got you, bud.
Well, how does it feel to have that monkey off your back?
Feels good. Got a little momentum here coming back home. That was important. Just really happy for the Dan and all the guys on the Busch Chevrolet. They worked hard for it and finally got them in victory lane.
Now, Kyle's been talking about how this racetrack has been really changing over the last couple hours. What do you expect here for this race?
I think it'll widen out. I was trying it on the outside a little bit, see if we could practice. And, I think it'll widen out, but I think you'll see the 2 car down on the bottom for the most part.
Good luck. Make it 2 in a row.
Thanks, bud.
So the field now out on the track, setting their RPM so they don't exceed the pit road speed. Speaking of pit road, let's go down there and get the stories of the race, starting with Marty Snyder.
Bill, keep an eye out for the 9 car. Casey Kane, he has a definitely winning race car today. It won this race last year. It won Las Vegas earlier this year. And California just a few weeks ago. Casey loves this race car. But they know the bigger picture is the Nextel Cup Series program. And they also know what you guys talked about earlier. This is the closest the track conditions will be to tomorrow's race. They're using today as a test session so what they can learn to put in their Nextel Cup Series car to make that program a little bit better. To Lindsay Zarniak.
Marty, Kyle Busch hasn't been back racing since his disastrous run last week in Dover. Today, he hopes he can get back to his winning ways here in the Busch Series. I just talked to his crew. They said their theme of the week has been corn, because no matter how much stuff they get into, they always come out in one piece. Today, Kyle Busch starts 5th. He's hoping to stay up front all day long. To Matt Yoakum.
Lindsay, 1 week ago, it was the 13th and 14th win of the season for Richard Childress Racing when Boyer and Burton went to victory lane at Dover. Now, they would love to continue on those winning ways and pad that record-setting season. Now, Burton says the car was good, but not great in practice. They made some adjustments. Worried, though, it may be a tick on the loose side. Burton chasing his 3rd win this season. He starts on the outside of the front row. Alan Bestwick.
We know Matt Kenseth's car is fast. For 2 laps, he qualified for pole position today. But Matt says a lot of times when he qualifies quickly, the car doesn't maintain its speed. He's hoping for a consistently fast race car over the long haul today. He expects some long green flag runs. The other thing Matt expects to do today, driver R&D. He says he's going to do a lot of research out on the racetrack, checking out all the various lanes of this speedway, trying to find out where he can get the most speed out of a race car from behind the wheel for tomorrow's Nextel Cup event. Bill?
Thanks, Alan. You guys and ladies down there, enjoy the race on pit road. A front row of Matt Kenseth and Jeff Burton put on quite a show last Sunday afternoon, the Nextel Cup race at Dover. There you see our race analysis. 200 laps, the pit road speed 45 miles per hour, the pace car speed 55, pit window about 65 to 70 laps. You see how that plays out. A lot of cautions in some of these Busch Series races here at Kansas. How these guys run in this race, obviously they're going to learn some stuff that they can at least tell their crew chiefs about for tomorrow, and may or may not affect their cars.
It will affect their cars. Bobby Labonte's driving the 77 car today, Kevin Harvick's car, and yesterday in practice they learned some stuff with some rear spring combinations and stuff that he brought over this morning that he ran in the first practice on the Cup side in the 43 Cheerios Dodge, and that we ran in the Wells Fargo's Dodge. So they're definitely going to learn some stuff, and they're going to be a leg up on everybody else. Just like Wally said, we're going to sit and watch. The other drivers are going to watch, but these guys are out there in the middle of it, and they're going to learn some stuff they can take back.
Field has gotten the 1 to go signal. Be the green flag next time by for Matt Kenseth in 2006. 14 top 10s in his 16 starts. Got the win at Bristol. Top 5 finish in 5 of his last 6 starts. And there you see the weather 77 degrees right now. And again, they are predicting the high could reach 90 here tomorrow afternoon during the Nextel Cup race. Should be about 83, 84 degrees when they drop the green flag.
And that would make the track temperature probably about 125 or better if it does get to 90.
And that would make the racetrack slick.
Significantly different from the practice conditions the teams had earlier today. On board with Jeff Burton. Got the Nextel Cup Series win last Sunday afternoon at Dover, racing side by side with Matt Kenseth, and that's how they'll start this Busch race here at Kansas. And as expected, just a spectacular turnout by the fans. They came early. They've been in the parking lot most of the day, came in and watched happy hour, went out and had some lunch, and now they have packed this place. And many of them will be back here tomorrow afternoon for 400 miles and the stars of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Field slowly through turn 4. Pace car will dive on the pit road. A lot of room here on pit road. Fairly big pit stalls, a lot of room to move around. See plenty of action down there today and again tomorrow. Matt Kenseth will bring them to the green. 200 laps, 300 miles for the stars of the NASCAR Busch Series. Live on TNT. Welcome to the Kansas Speedway. The green flag is in the air. Alan said, Matt Kenseth is good for 1 or 2 laps.
Very good, actually. Kenny Hamlin slides into second place, and I mean, he slid into second place right in front of Burton there. Kyle Busch down on the inside. Racing in the 41 car, Reed Sorensen.
Gonna black flag the 66 car, Brad Coleman, for jumping the start. And he was back in the 24th position.
Guys running side by side real close. Kyle, this is one of those racetracks, too. You got to be careful when you go down the corners, not to be right on somebody's quarter paddle through these corners, or it'll loosen you up.
Yeah, we saw it a couple of weeks ago in California. You saw these cars get out of shape. Here's one already in the wall right here. But you see these cars get out of shape when somebody really takes the air from the outside off their spoiler. So these guys are giving each other a lot of room right now.
Looked like Brad was trying to figure out if he had a tire going down.
Well, I think he was way up on the wall. I think he was trying to scrub the tires off. He probably got a lot of dirt and marbles on him.
Carl Edwards in that 60 car on the outside. David Ruderman in the 99. There's Boyer in the 2, Kevin Harvick right behind him, and here comes Casey Kane.
And boy, that 2 car was so good last week on the bottom. Everybody else would start sliding up the racetrack, and man, that 2, he stayed down the bottom and he had grip. And that's how you pass a lot of race cars. If everybody else is sliding up to the top, you can run the bottom. It's a lot easier to pass them where they're not.
Casey Kane just loves that high groove, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's always one of the first guys to run up there, and he gets a few spots, but then he'll start having people follow him. They'll start running up high eventually. Especially if you get passed by him. Yeah, when then you're like, well, wait a minute, I think I better move up.
Yeah, when people start passing you, you begin to say, oh, is that guy that much smarter than me? I need to move up and follow him a little bit.
Well, I don't know if Marty can add on that when we talk about smarter, but go ahead, Marty.
Wally, I learned all that I know from racing from you, so I guess not.
That was a short conversation, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Exactly, Weber. And you guys hit it right on the head. Clint Boyer said, I'm going to stick to the bottom. They worked all day yesterday on getting their car to work right on that white line on the bottom. When I talked to Casey Kane, I said, I'm going to try to work in that high groove because that's where I want to run tomorrow. But Clint said an interesting thing. He said, I'm pushing it a little too hard here early. Remind me of that. Slow myself down a little bit. We're a little early in the race to be pushing as hard as I'm trying to do it.
9 car taking a spot away, or trying to take a spot away from Kevin Harvick. Points leader just by a few. 100.
They work in a higher groove in this race in 200 laps.
Will they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's there. It's there.
It is there already.
Yeah, it's there. It was there in practice. You're watching this, you know, and you talk about Boyer saying, maybe I'm pressing it a little bit hard. If you're going to run that bottom lane, you need to start backing the corner up a little bit. And you start watching these guys, they'll back the corner up, go to the gas quicker. You heard it on Boyer's in-car a minute ago. They go to the gas quicker, half throttle through the center, and then really get a good run up off the corner. Now, the 2 guys we've been talking about have switched positions. Boyer's high, and now Kane's low.
But that's the first thing a driver will do. When he gets passed by a car, I don't care how good your car is down low. If somebody passes you high, you're going to try it for a lap just to make sure that's not a better deal.
Yeah, and you never know, because even though you hammer a place all week long on practice, that doesn't mean that's the best place come race day. And that's where the good drivers are really, really good at moving around and finding an alternative groove than what they've really set up for.
Harvick went to the inside of Boyer and took the position. Clint falls in line behind him. Casey Kane in that 9 car, the red one right in front of the 21. There's Kane, Harvick, and Boyer. Casey Kane on the pole for the Nextel Cup race here tomorrow. Meanwhile, back up front, Matt Kenseth started on the pole and took off like a rocket. He's led all 9 laps. Early going at Kansas on TNT. 14 laps are complete here at Kansas. Matt Kenseth continues to lead. Enter the BK Race to the Glory fantasy game. You can win a trip for 2 to the Atlanta race next spring. The game is free to play. Go to NASCAR.com during the week and register. Matt Kenseth by 2.8 seconds over Jeff Burton. Then it's Denny Hamlin, Reed Sorensen, and Kyle Busch, the top 5. Update on car 2 from Marty Snyder.
And he's dropped back to 10th now, Bill, and he said something is wrong with the right rear. He's come on the radio and said it twice now, that he has a bad vibration with the right rear. Not sure what's going on chassis-wise, though. He said it's just too tight in the center. Can't hold it down in the middle of the corner. When he does that, it makes it too loose. But again, he said twice, something is wrong with the right rear. Lindsay?
Well, Kyle Busch is also having issues. Kyle Busch believes that their right rear tire is going down, but they're going to keep it on the track for a little bit, see what happens. They might have to bring him in early. before because in practice, he brushed the wall. They had to fix the right rear quarter panel. Not the way they want to start off this day, but they're going to see if they can take it off.
Well, you're right about that. Keep an eye on the 5 car and the 2. A couple guys on the move. Bobby Labonte has climbed up into the top 20, up to 16th from his starting spot, which was back in 32nd. Tony Stewart is also on the move. He's up to 11th. And Greg Biffle, who started 43rd, has made his way up to 23rd. So some guys making strong moves here early in the yellow 300 at the Kansas Speedway. And there's the 5 car of Kyle Busch.
Whoa! A bit loose off, I would say. This is a pretty fast place, Kyle. I mean, you can live with a little bit loose off, but man, you carry a lot of speed down in these corners.
You carry a lot of speed, especially in the 1. But you know, this is a funny place, and Wally, you've driven enough, you know how it is. You come up off turn 2, you have to put wheel in the car because it's a definite turn. You come up out of turn 4, you let the car go, and sometimes you let the car go a little bit quicker than what you anticipate, and you just lose grip, man, and it just slides up off here in a 4-wheel drift. But I gotta say, that's Kyle Busch's driving style. He runs that everywhere we go. He just drives the wheels off of it.
Black flag for the 0-1 of Jay Sauter for no right side window. So you're assuming he started the race with that.
You're assuming if he has no right side window. It's on the racetrack somewhere, so I don't know why there's not a caution.
Keep an eye on that and check on what Alan's working on.
I am keeping an eye on Carl Edwards. You know, we talked about Clint Boyer being a hometown favorite here. Carl considers this his hometown track as well. He is from Columbia, Missouri, not all that far from here. He wants to win this race very badly. Right now, struggling with a car that's lacking rear and grip, kind of sliding around. Matt?
AB, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, belongs to the 33 of Tony Stewart. He's climbed up to 11th, just a few tenths off the fast pace set by the leader, Kenton. He says the car is just rolling along. Really good. If anything, it's just a tick on the tight side.
Thanks, Matt. Not a great qualifying run for Tony. Started back in the 28th position, but trying to work his way into the top 10. On board with Tony Stewart.
It looks like he's working that low line, or he's right on the bottom. He wasn't 3 and 4 anyway.
And he likes it down there.
There's Kyle was saying, just get after the throttle. As soon as you feel like the car's got grip in the front, you try to get aggressive with the throttle. You lay off the throttle here, you let it roll down in the corner a little bit, then you just start picking the throttle up to see how the car is going to react. Then you get aggressive with the throttle. As soon as you've got confidence the car's going to stick and you can push the gas down fast, that's when you do it. But that's what the driver's waiting on, is that feel through the steering wheel and through the seat.
And we have been told the reason there's no caution, Kyle, is apparently the 0-1 started the race without that window. And you have to have the right side window.
That's good. It only took 20 laps to see that he didn't have one.
Say somebody didn't notice that before they started.
That'll be an interesting story. Here's another good story. Matt Kenseth started up front. He's led all 22 laps on board with Jeff Burton, running second, 3.3 seconds behind the race leader. First caution of the day here at the Kansas Speedway. Separate incidents at opposite ends of the racetrack, and then a bizarre incident between that car, the 20 of Denny Hamlin, and the 49 of Jennifer Cobb. First, the 66 of Brad Coleman. This is off of turn 4.
He didn't hit anything, so he's pretty much good to go.
And then there's Denny.
I don't know what happened there. He just got up in the high stuff, lost it,
and
wrecked it.
Yeah. Then the caution comes out, and now you guys walk me through this.
I can't explain this one. This is just not paying attention, actually. Drives down the racetrack and clobbers poor Jennifer.
Then if we keep watching, it's almost better because she almost clobbers the safety truck.
Pit stops, Marty.
Casey Kane has the very first stall on pit road. Bill, a little bit tight for Casey. Half round down on the left rear wedge belt. 2 rounds up on the track bar. Lindsay?
Marty, Kyle Busch came in. We told you earlier he thought his right rear tire was going down. Turns out it is not. They're okay. Brings him in. They're going to change 4 tires, gives him some fuel, make a chassis adjustment, and he'll be down and away.
Air pressure change for the right front of Jeff Burton. Also, they've already completed the chassis adjustment. Burton, 2 loose on entry and 2 loose on exit. AB?
Small air pressure adjustment for the leader, Matt Kenseth. Very nice stop by his team. He will win the race off pit road fairly handily.
A lot of traffic down there. Nice wide pit road here at Kansas, and the large pit stalls make it a little easier to operate down there. Under our first caution of the day. .29 laps are complete. The field has just gotten the 1 to go signal here at Kansas. Log on to SI.com for breaking sports news, scores, stats, analysis, and more. And for more on NASCAR and Lars Anderson's power rankings, go to SI.com today. Field doubling up. Clint Bowyer currently scored in the 7th position. Hometown race for Clint today. From Emporia, Kansas, about 105 miles from the Kansas Speedway. Made quite a name for himself around here. Worked his way up the ranks to his next Tail Cup ride. Began racing modifieds at the age of 15. Won championships on area dirt and asphalt tracks. And everything from sprint cars to the late models. And got the win last Saturday in the Busch race at Dover. Matt Yoakum.
This is going to be a huge blow for Denny Hamlin. Now, he only had a 44-point cushion over Clint Bowyer coming into today's event. He sits in his race car talking to crew chief Dave Rogers while his team, they've got the Porter Power out, trying to bend and cut away all the broken pieces on this 20 machine. A lot of work left to do to try to get this car back out, Bill, to try to get whatever points they can salvage this afternoon.
Thanks, Matt. A lot of work for those guys and a very disappointed driver. Tim Sauter is the lucky dog. He comes around. There are 32 cars on the lead lap. Todd Cleaver in the 06 car is in 9th place, just 2 tires on his pit stop. See how that works out. Almost didn't work out too good right at the start.
Yeah, right around the 11 car, Paul Menard. Looked like somebody had trouble there getting going.
Burton can hang on to Kenseth's bumper this time.
Well, you would think Kenseth probably didn't make a whole lot of changes to that chassis, and everybody else that was chasing him probably did. So we'll see. Wow, look at this pack.
Ooh, wow, it's pretty close. J.J. Yaley right there. And that's Cleaver in the 06, and there's Menard in the 11.
Cleaver looks like he's hanging on for dear life right there. He got real loose.
2 tires, not a bad call to try at this point in time, but the one thing that people don't sometimes understand about 2 tires is the pressure is already built up in the left side tires. The pressure is not built up in the right side tires, and it's a handful for about 3 or 4 laps until the pressure builds up and they kind of equalize themselves, and then you can get the car back. But to be in this pack with new tires with just 2, yeah, that's you get the death wobble every now and then.
That 77 car with that Labonte kit in it is doing pretty well today.
Yeah, Bobby's doing really well in the 77 car. I mean, he felt like he was really good yesterday, and he just didn't qualify the way he wanted to, but he knew he was going to be able to drive up to the front.
Stephen Wallace in the 64. I don't know if they took 4 or 2, but it looks like he took none. That thing was sliding all over the place in 1 and 2 right there.
It was 14th last time by. It's Ted Musgrave in the 12. That car has been a handful today as well. Bobby Labonte in the 77, driving for Kevin Harvick, replacing Bernie Lamar in that car. Lindsay?
Bobby Labonte's driving like a rocket. You guys are talking about it. He started out 32nd. Now he's up to 12th. They brought him in on the pit stop, gave him 4 new tires. He's saying the car is still very, very loose, but it is so fast. He's taking it right on up, guys.
Moving through the pack. There you can see what Lindsay was talking about.
Oh! Oh, no. Still not done.
Jerry Robertson
I don't know how there wasn't 10 cars in that wreck.
Caution number 2.
Who was it that he tagged?
Looked like was it the 64?
Maybe the 60. Yeah, I think it was Stephen.
This is Rudeman in the 99.
Okay, now he should have gotten 3 or 4 here. Jeez.
Stephen Wallace in that 64 car that gets pinched between Robertson and the wall. Look at that.
You couldn't do that twice in a row. You
No,
wouldn't want to not get hit.
Shane Huffman in the 88 car gets the lucky dog. Jerry Robertson, not a lucky dog. Caution out at Kansas. Matt Kenseth is the race leader.
Now, another I Love Law & Order Briscoe zinger.
She's murdered? Are you kidding me? If I was kidding you, I'd be wearing a fez and no pants.
For more Briscoe bites, don't miss Law & Order, Mondays and Tuesdays on TNT.
That's a good line.
That's one of your favorite outfits.
That is. I got a couple of them in the closet.
That is good.
I'll bet you got some stuff in your closet. 37 laps complete. Let's get an update. Lindsay, save us, would you please?
I'll try my best, guys, but I don't know if I'll be able to help. Listen, I can tell you about the number 78 car of Jerry Robertson. You saw the wreck earlier. Jerry went into the wall. He did so because he was clipped. There you see it by the 99 car of David Rudeman. And actually, guys, David just got on the radio to his crew chief, Jerry Baxter, and said, I didn't mean to do it. I just didn't have any room left. So Rudeman has said that he thinks he suffered some damage because of that. They are going to have to look at the right front fender. But Jerry Robertson, a done day.
Thanks, Lindsay. Handful of cars taking the opportunity to pit, including the 58 of Chris Horn. Unfortunately, he was too fast exiting, so he picks up the speeding ticket. Field has gotten the 1 to go. Get the green flag next time by. Kenseth leads, then it's Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Reed Sorensen. Now at Sunoco, NASCAR race points. Every 10-gallon fill-up earns you 200 race points, good toward cool NASCAR rewards. During the chase for the cup, every race point you earn is a chance to win the Chase for the Race Points sweepstakes. Get your race points at Sunoco today. Go to NASCAR.com or a participating Sunoco location for more information. Well, Matt Kenseth has led all 38 laps so far after starting on the pole. We'll see how he works on this restart. Most laps led by a Kansas winner, 48 by Jeff Burton back in 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not that many.
The race leader here in the Busch race has led very few laps.
Yeah.
The winner, the actual winner. In fact, the leader of the most laps has never won at Kansas, and the pole sitter has never won the Busch race at Kansas. All that working against Matt right now, huh? Probably won't bother telling him that.
No.
Okay.
I don't think he cares right now. He thinks he's got a car to break that streak.
Green, green, green.
Right about where it got bogged up on the last restart.
Oh, 2-car in the middle, not a good place to be. Get it sorted out.
Bobby Labonte in the 77. Rudeman right behind him. And the 90 of Stephen Light is in there. Kevin Harvick inside Kyle Busch. That's for third. able to hang with Kenseth.
Whoa!
Casey Kane.
Kane slides up the racetrack. Car gets a little bit loose on him. He's corrected and lost a little bit there.
Got his attention, though.
Yeah. We just talked about it earlier. You don't want to be loose getting into these corners, especially turn one. You carry so much speed going in. You really want that car to feel like it's going to stick when you tug on that steering wheel, and it didn't there. It definitely gets your attention.
And the Cup cars in qualifying near 200 miles an hour on a 1.5 mile track heading into turn one.
You know, you're flying around this racetrack. It's a smooth track. Boy, you got to have a lot of confidence in that car when you go down the corners.
It's Reed Sorensen in the 41. Trying to rope in Kyle Busch. Kyle holds him off for now. Up front, Matt Kenseth continues to lead. He has led all 43 laps. Let's go through the field, starting with Allen.
And we'll start with the man who's led all of the laps in this race so far, Matt Kenseth. He's got a little secret weapon in his pit stall today. That would be former Nextel Cup champion crew chief Jimmy Fennig, who's running Matt's team today. Trouble?
Yep, on the backstretch. Todd Cleaver is in it.
66 hit something that time.
Brad Coleman has had a very difficult day, and it has just come to a conclusion in that 66 car. Third caution of the day.
Just gets loose. He gets loose and he's saving it and saving it and saving it, and finally just got away from him. But he got loose and he slid up, then he got clobbered by Cleaver.
There was another car back there too, wasn't there?
He may not have hit that wall if he didn't get hit.
Yeah, he may have spun all the way to the inside, or he wouldn't have hit that hard, and that was just a 59 car.
Stacy Compton got a piece of the wall. Danny O'Quinn slid to the inside. Jason Leffler's on board.
Low, 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 low. Keep coming. Direction behind you. Attaboy. Good. Green.
Whoa.
Slow down, slow down, slow down. Stay high, stay high, stay high. Good job. Keep. Now go, now go. Good.
That's good work by the spotter right there.
That's Mark Green.
Yeah.
He spots for me on Sunday. He's used to keeping people out of wrecks.
Under caution here at Kansas, Matt Kenseth is the race leader in the yellow 300. NASCAR has put out the red flag here at Kansas because there is a considerable amount of debris back in the vicinity of turn 2 where the wreck just occurred. We did see Brad Coleman climb out of the car on his own and go to the ambulance for the trip to the infield care center. Here it is again. Watch and see what happens. And this kind of went on for a while, Kyle.
Just like Wally said, when a car gets down under somebody, you see him. He chased this car from the entrance to the corner all the way over here. The wreck ends 1/4 mile from where it starts. And even if he hadn't spun and got into the 06 car, he was going to spin out and get into the inside wall or get down in the grass. He collected a couple other people, but it shows how fast things happen here and how long it takes for some things to develop, though.
Into the ambulance for the ride to the care center. Very disappointed young man. Red flag out for track cleanup here at Kansas. Matt Kenseth is the race leader. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Red flag still out here at the Kansas Speedway after a multi-car crash. In turn 2. Cars lined up along the front stretch. And now NASCAR has just withdrawn the red, put out the yellow, so those guys on pit road can go back to work. NASCAR Busch Series Racing from the Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox, is brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the new Sicilian lasagna pizza. Go for the good stuff. By U.S. Navy. Navy, accelerate your life. By Prestone. When it comes to antifreeze, just get Prestone in the yellow jug. Prestone protection. Easy to choose, easy to use. Under the yellow flag now, after the red flag was withdrawn. Pit road has remained closed, will be open this time. Matt Kenseth is the race leader. Then it's Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Reed Sorensen. Casey Kane, Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, and J.J. Yaley round out the top 10. See who decides to make a visit here. Most of the leaders are going to stay out. A couple of cars that had some damage have made their way to pit road. But the leaders stay out. This will complete lap 47 here at the Kansas Speedway. Brad Coleman around, gets a corner top cleaver hard into the wall. And brought out the red flag. We're waiting for the green. Still under caution here at Kansas. Some wacky stuff happening, and we'll explain it all in a minute. Just want to let you know. Coming up next week on Speed on Saturday, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series from the Talladega Super Speedway on that resurfaced track down there, 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Well, there's Johnny Sauter's car, and we'd gotten the one to go, and the field was getting all lined up, and we were going back to green flag racing, and then this happened. Watch this. And just start.
I'm not sure the body work up front was strong enough, because when he reached 45 miles per hour, it looked like it blew in on the tire.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what it looked like even before he got the pit road.
Yeah, that's museum quality work right there.
So he went back out, and guess who's going back to work now? The cleanup crews. To head back there and pick up some more stuff. We managed somehow to get 49 laps in. Here's our Holiday Inn race recap. 43 crews getting ready, the fans ready. Matt Kenseth took him to the green flag. Brad Coleman's had an adventurous day. He'd already been black flagged twice by that time. Denny Hamlin, about the same time Coleman was having his issues. And this went on for a little while. Look out. 49 of Jennifer Cobb. Sherry Robertson. Got Stephen Wallace. Then tries to get everybody else. But missed. And here's Mr. Coleman again. It's Todd Cleaver in the 06. A few guys flashed by on the inside. Our Holiday Inn race recap, which had very little to do with the race and a lot to do with the guys that aren't in the race anymore. And these guys are going to start picking up some debris. So the caution parade continues here at Kansas. Matt Kenseth is the race leader, 49 laps complete. Tomorrow on NBC, it's the Banquet 400. 8 races remain in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Casey Kane will take the field to the green flag. Richard Childress Racing has won the last 3. See how they do tomorrow. 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Of course, our coverage begins with the Bank of America countdown to green. We're going to try this one more time. The field has gotten the 1 to go. Hey, tomorrow, countdown to green.
Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Want to ride for a ride?
Yeah.
See her medal? Medal. She's won a lot of them.
Yes, she has.
Won.
Olympic gold medal. Star and superstar in track and field. You ain't going to give us any hints on how?
No, absolutely not. She wanted out.
She did?
Yeah, she was getting a little nervous there when she was getting strapped in, and we assured her that it would be fairly safe.
Fairly being the operative word.
Okay, we'll get the full story tomorrow on the Bank of America countdown to green, leading up to the Banquet 400. Well, Kenseth, Burton and company going to try it again here. 51 laps complete, coming around to complete number 52. Green flag in the air. Here we go.
Car to worry about that pulled up. 23 car. Brad Keselowski. Whoa.
Jeff Burton to the lead. So Kenseth, who's been so strong on the restarts, could not hold Burton off that time. Harvick runs third, then Kyle Busch. So Matt led the first 52 laps.
He's going to lead a couple more here before this thing's over. That car looked really good. 17 down on the bottom. It looked like Burton drifted up the racetrack just a little bit. We're looking out the back of Burton's car now. See how it kind of drift up the track? And he stayed pretty low there, a little bit loose.
Single file all the way around right now. If you listen, you really can hear them get back on the gas. Ease off of it, and kind of ease back into it.
Yeah, some guys I think probably will slam the pedal down harder than others, but most of the time, a lot of the guys will roll out and then roll back in. And as you see, 17 underneath. It just looked like Matt's car was just working so good on the bottom right now. I didn't think Harvick was going to, Burton was going to be able to hold him off.
And Matt's car was working good behind the car,
yeah,
which is really hard to do, because a lot of times you lose that nose behind the car. But you saw in the previous 2 or 3 corners, Matt get right in the middle, and when the 29 would go up about 2 or 3 feet, the 17 would come down 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah, the 17 was not getting any aero push at all off of Burton's car.
I want to point out that Brad Coleman has been taken to a local hospital for observation. Report that NASCAR is checking the 30 car, Mike Bliss, for leaking fluid, or the possibility of leaking fluid on the racetrack. We did see Coleman get out of the car on his own, but they did transport him to a local hospital.
Saw some smoke coming off of Stephen Wallace's car going down into the corners. Not sure if that's a tire rub or something else. There it is, tire rub off the left front.
Harvick, yep, grabs second from Burton.
You're talking about Stephen Wallace's car. It's hard sometimes. You know how it is. It's hard sometimes. You get hit like that, and the crew thinks they've pulled it out far enough, but you get so much body roll at a place like this.
Just cut it down right there.
Yeah.
Flat, left front tire is flat.
So he needs to get out of the gas and get to the inside in a hurry.
And hopefully that thing won't start ripping apart, because if it does, it will tear that fender up.
Kyle Busch on the back bumper of Jeff Burton. On board with Burton, here comes Busch on the high side.
You heard right there how long Burton had to wait to get on the gas, and you saw the 5 car just power by on the outside like he had a ton more horsepower.
Well, Matt Kenseth back to the front. We tried to take you through the field earlier. Let's try this one more time, Alan.
And see if we can get any farther than the first car.
Yes.
I actually don't even think we got through the report of the first car. You know, Matt Kenseth might have just been sizing up Jeff Burton there, because he said nothing on his team's radio when he dropped back behind him, and he went back around him, and Kenseth has obviously pulled away. Matt?
On that first pit stop, Kevin Harvick said the car was just too free. They made no changes on the 21 machine. Harvick says the car loose, though, gets better every single lap as he slowly reels in leader Kenseth. Lindsay?
Kyle Busch has a condition that he calls wishy-washy. He says his back rear tire, right rear tire, is feeling squishy, like it's low on air pressure. His crew had decided that he's going to keep it out, not bring it in, because they want to hold on to this track position, as Kyle Busch has just taken third. Matt?
Casey Kane's in that red car, Lindsay, behind Kyle Busch in the 9 car. On the first stop, they're a little too tight. They maybe went too far on the adjustments. Now he has no rear end grip. He said, but when it comes in, the car is awfully fast, so they should be good at the end of this run. Matt?
Jeff Burton won from the outside pole here back in 2002. Right now, though, he is slowly fading back through the field. He just told his team the front end just does not work. It was loose on entry and exit. Last time they made several adjustments. Doesn't appear to have fixed it. Meanwhile, the 41, Reed Sorensen, said his car just not good on the restart. It was too tight on late exit before. He just could not run the top like the other guys. Marty?
Before the race, Matt Clint Boyer told me he has close to 400 family and friends here, 200 of which he helped get tickets for this race. It's a packed house with the Boyer clan here. He said he's having trouble getting back to the gas because when he hits the gas, the car wants to go loose on him, Matt.
After his pit stop on lap 27, Tony Stewart said the car was just too free. He changed his entry line several times. Now he says the car is just getting better and better every lap, starting to come to him.
Carl Edwards has fallen back a few spots. He took the green flag in 6th place. He's running now in 9th. He came on the radio during that long delay and asked his crew chief, Pierre Cattell, whether his setup was closer to Matt Kenseth's or Greg Biffle's. He was told Kenseth's. Didn't draw much of a response except a long pause there. Well, he thought about that. Here's the drive of the day so far. J.J. Yaley took the green flag in 33rd spot. Took 4 tires on the pit stop earlier in lap 27. He's raced his way to the top 10 under green. Lindsay?
Behind JJ is the 99 of David Rudiman. David has had massive contact twice, actually, to the right side of his car. He says that the car starts to feel better. He has dropped 3 positions from where he qualified, but right now he feels like it could start to inch up. Marty?
Lindsay, I beg to differ with Alan's vote for drive of the day. I give Greg Biffle that nomination. 43rd to 12th for Biffle. The car is extremely loose here. Everybody else screaming tight. Biffle says his car is loose, lacking rear end grip. Lindsay?
Hey, well, somebody that would add on to that would be Bobby Labonte in the number 77. They brought the car in, made a chassis adjustment. He said it's still incredibly loose, but he has been talking back and forth with Tony Stewart on the radio, talking about different strategies they can use on their next pit stops. Alan?
Paul Menard started the race in 17th spot. He is running 14th in that neon number 11 car. Talks about needing clean air on the nose of the machine when he gets right up behind somebody else. Has a lot of trouble turning the car. Marty?
Alan, Jason Leffler comes to Kansas with a little bit of momentum, finishing 5th last week at Dover. Yesterday they had an excellent car, but today the car is just not what it was yesterday. A little too tight for Leffler. In fact, on the radio he said, guys, we don't have near the car that we had yesterday in practice. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. Jason Leffler, 15th. There are 30 cars currently on the lead lap.
Well, earlier, Kansas did have some trash on the front of that car, but it looked like it blew itself off, which was good because it was a big piece of plastic on there.
That was right when we started our through the field.
Right. Yep. But it's clear now.
He leads by 1.9 seconds over Kevin Harvick. Kenseth has led 64 of the 66 laps. Jeff Burton led the other 2. Of course, Kenseth, one of the drivers in the chase for the NEXTAR Cup championship. He ran out of gas last Sunday over in that race. That's hard to take.
It's hard to take. You know, it didn't kill him. He went from what, first winning the race to running 10th. It's still a good top 10, good solid finish for him. And the way he's been on Saturdays and the way he's been on Sunday over the last 4 or 5 weeks, it was not a momentum killer for him. So, but you know, when you run like that all day long, you hate to see anybody lose something like that the way it was.
Had that great battle with Jeff Burton. Burton ended up in victory lane. Matt came home 10th. Right now, Kenseth the leader in the yellow 300 at Kansas. College football tonight. Saturday night college football presented by Orbitz. Back on TBS. Second-ranked USC Trojans take on Washington State, the Cougars. Tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern, Pac-10 college football on TBS. Have that on while we're working on our notes for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet.
You're a huge football fan, aren't you, Wally? And a note maker, too.
Yeah. Just make sure you bring those notes to the production.
Yeah. I'm going to make one this year, I promise.
What, a note or a meeting?
A meeting.
Tony Stewart in the 33. It's Carl Edwards in the 60 behind him.
Well, you see these guys they moved up the racetrack, Kyle. I mean, a lot of these guys, well, they're running all over the track now. It's not everybody. There's some guys, their cars are still working on the bottom, but there's definitely some guys that have moved up looking for some grip there.
Especially down here in 1 and 2 because they're just about only got about a lane to go.
Matt?
Bill, Tony Stewart's definitely moved up in the bottom. The car is too tight in the center off. Now, Lindsey touched on the conversation between the two KHI teammates for today, but for 7 years, Stewart and Labonte were Nextel Cup teammates, and they gave each other a complete lap description of what their race cars were doing on their racetrack. And then when they were done, Stewart's longtime spotter, Mark Robertson, said, boy, that was heck of a dialogue. And Stewart said, you know, we used to do that almost every weekend. We're just good buddies. Marty?
Well, Matt, behind these fellas is Greg Biffle, as we said earlier, 43rd, now to 11th for Biffle. And this is a backup car. We got to give him full credit for what happened in qualifying, which is, I mean, the car was extremely loose. Biffle said, didn't even wiggle in qualifying. He just wrecked it. It completely went around on him. So this is a backup car. They were the last car through inspection, the last car out on the line today. But when you wheel out a backup car that won earlier this year at California, you have a pretty deep stable. So Biffle said, I know this car can make it to the front. It's a question of whether or not I can stand the chassis setup. Extremely loose is the way they had it set up. The exact same setup, in fact, he wrecked with in qualifying. He said, but I know if I can handle it, it'll go to the front.
And Marty, that was a really tight window between qualifying and the race here today.
They did not have much time. They had to unload the backup car, get a setup on it, because they had a qualifying setup on it, you know, based on what they thought it might be if they had wrecked early in the day, but they had a completely different setup for the race. So they had very little time to get this car ready. So give a ton of credit to the 16 team.
It's J.J. Yaley looking under Clint Boyer. Trying to make the move. Update on J.J. from Allen.
Well, Bill, J.J. Yaley still looking for that first breakthrough NASCAR Busch Series win. Got a couple of second-place finishes as his best runs. He's had a great drive from the back up into the top 10 so far today. His crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, just keeps telling him not to press, to be consistent with his lap times, to be consistent with his line, that they have a car that can get the job done. Ratcliffe told me under that red flag, we've got a top 5 car. We just need to get it to the finish in that spot.
Trying to make it work down low.
I think Boyer right now is looking for some grip. He was up high that last corner. Now he works to the bottom. He's got a pretty good run on the 18 car. Let's see if you can try to stay underneath him going to the corner. I think Marty said earlier that the car was a little bit loose for Boyer. He's having a hard time getting on the throttle. Marty, what's the 2 car doing right now?
You mean you actually pay attention, Wally? I'm impressed. Can you take a note on that?
What's that, Marty?
Very good, Wally. You don't pay attention, do you? You're exactly right. Clint Boyer is a little bit loose. They have the line that they won in 1 and 2, but he's asking Mike Dillon, the veteran spotter, to help him out a little bit. In 3 and 4, he feels like that's where he's losing all of his time, so he's trying to move up a little higher in 3 and 4. Kind of has a line, though, that he likes in 1 and 2.
Yaley is 7th. Boyer is 8th. You listen, you can just listen to him get on and off the gas pedal.
Normally when you're loose, he'll be able to, when he gets off the gas, he'll go down in, then he get on the gas really gently. I mean, just see how just barely gets in the throttle, because if he wants to hammer it, but if he really drops his foot on the gas pedal, the car's going to jump loose. So he's being really, really gentle with that throttle right now.
This is going into 3 and 4.
So he had to back out of the gas a little bit right there. So he's looking for another pit stop, make some adjustments on that car and get it back to where it was.
Because you really don't want to lift that much in 3 and 4, right?
You don't want to lift anywhere, really. I mean, when you get out of the gas here, you only get out of the gas for a little bit. This is a really fast racetrack, and I mean, you roll down the corners, you don't even use that much brake here. I mean, you may use a little bit of brake just to set the nose, to get the nose down on the racetrack to help it aero-wise, but you really don't use that much.
Yeah, and you can see how incredibly smooth he's being in the race car. He's not doing anything fast with his hands. You know, last week we watched Dover. They're left, they're right, they're pushing, they're plowing, they're loose, they're doing everything. He's being incredibly smooth. The one thing that is amazing me is he's all but running below the white line. When he goes to the bottom, he goes all the way down looking for grip. It's just like Wally said. He's all over the racetrack. There's a little bit of grip right below that line if you can get down there, and he can get down there, but he's struggling just to find a place to run right now.
Got to victory lane a week ago at Dover, trying to get back there today at Kansas, but he has his hands full. Matt Kenseth leads Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, and
Casey Kane. NASCAR Busch Series Racing, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox. 89 laps are complete.
We might have a race here.
Kevin Harvick closing in on race leader Matt Kenseth.
I think Kevin's got up on the wheel here in the last few laps. He needs those 5 points to pad his lead a little bit.
His 699-point lead?
Yeah, just something to put him over 700.
Which is now 731 as the race runs now. But Kenseth is going to fight hard to keep him off, right, Alan?
For a few laps until he comes to pit road. Just a few laps from now. Leaders are coming up on green flag pit stops very shortly, Bill. Matt talking to his crew chief, Jimmy Fennig, and Matt discussing the differences in his car's handling over a 20-lap run and over a full fuel run. The way this race is played out, you'd think they want the 20-lap setup, but here we are with that long green flag run. And now Kevin Harvick catching Matt, jaws the tick at the end of it.
This completes lap 91. Matt's led 89 of them. Harvick in the 21.
You can see how high they're running. They've moved all the way up. Since we spoke about it 15, 20 laps ago, they've colored in that gray down here in 1 and 2. They are all the way at the top of the wall in 1 and 2. If you see in 3 and 4 when they go in, there's still a little bit of gray up above them. Just a little bit of almost a whole nother lane up there. But when you get back down to 1 and 2, right in the middle of the corner, Harvick, especially that last lap, had his quarter panel almost right on the wall.
Update on Harvick from Matt.
And Kyle touched on it briefly about the line that Kevin Harvick's running now. Owner Richard Childress was on the radio telling him exactly the line that Kenseth was running, and Harvick has slowly migrated up the racetrack. Says the car is a touch tight in the center, especially on exit. They're looking to pit around lap 98 or 99.
It's just a handful of laps from now.
The guy that's been quicker than these two cars the last 4 or 5 laps has been Kyle Busch in the 5 car. There he is right there.
Runs in the 5th spot.
3rd spot.
I'm sorry, you're correct. 3rd spot. Casey came back in 5th. Burton in between them. And another guy that you two were talking about, the 18 of J.J. Yaley. Now here comes Bobby Labonte, driving that 77 car, heading for pit road. Lindsay.
Bobby Labonte's bringing that 77 car in, and he had been saying just how tight he felt out there on the racetrack. But his team is going to do what they can. They're going to change all 4 tires, give him some fuel, going to try to help him gain any track position that he can, because right now he's saying that is what is critical. Guys.
Here you see Harvick up on the high side of the 17 car. 17 maybe looking to pit this lap, but.
So Harvick grabs the lead. See if Kenseth ducks on the pit road here. Yes, he will. So Matt slows down, heads for pit road. As Alan talked about, green flag stops. He's got a long way to go to get to his pit stall. Headed for you, AB.
Yeah, he'll get here in a little bit at that speed limit coming down pit road, which must seem like forever from behind the wheel. He and Jimmy Fennig with an extended conversation about the adjustments to be made to the car, just small air pressure adjustments to try and tweak the handling of this car. Obviously not much to complain about for Matt Kenseth, as he's been pacing this field almost the entire race. Right now just looking for a smooth stop from this Roush Racing pit crew. You see the work done on the right side. They'll come around and look to hit 10 lug nuts each on the left side, 5 lug nuts apiece there. Pull that tape, there it is, and to Lindsay.
The number 5 of Kyle Busch, that car is steady. It was in 3rd place, but Kyle said it's so unbelievable to him how his car can go from being so loose to suddenly becoming so tight. He's battling fierce tight conditions. They're making a track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel to Marty.
Casey Kane was going to pit about 10 laps from now, but he said, I have a weird feeling something's going wrong with this race car. A little bit too tight off the exit of the corner. They had to wait a long time on the gas, track bar, and air pressure adjustment on that stop. Matt?
The championship point leader, Kevin Harvick, started a just under 700-point lead in the standings, makes his way down pit road. He finished 4th back in Chicago, the sister track in Kansas. So the car was just tight in the center, and you need to especially work on it on exit. Just too tight there as well. Air pressure adjustment adjustment for the championship point leader. The 29 of Burton is in as well. Air pressure change. He was tight. Marty.
Clint Boyer spent most of that run loose, Matt, meaning he had no rear end grip. But at the very end, he said, we're starting to lose the front grip on the car, a little bit too tight. They make an air pressure adjustment and an excellent stop for the 2-team, Matt.
Kevin Harvick is already away. The car he owns, though, the 33 of Tony Stewart, in, going to work on the left side now. Air pressure change for Stewart. He said the car on exit, he had to get out of the gas, touch, then get out, and then finally get back in. While the 41 of Reed Sorensen making his way down pit road, they were talking about backing up a track bar adjustment they made earlier because the car is tight. Not bad tight. You can see the wrench go in the back window. The car not too bad, though, on entry and in the center. No other changes for the 41 of Reed Sorensen, though. 7 top 10 finishes in the last 14 starts for the 41. Slow, waiting for fuel to Marty.
From 43rd to 1st for Greg Biffle. He hits pit road, running in the lead. The car's a little bit too loose all the way through that run. They talked about a track bar adjustment. Instead, they go with an air pressure adjustment on the 16 car, trying to tighten it up just a little bit. Biffle doesn't want much. Alan?
After a pretty good debate, just going to be air pressure adjustments for Carl Edwards as he brings the 60 car into the attention of his crew. Carl has just not quite been able to keep up with the race leaders and is looking for some more speed out of this car and see if he can get it where he can run with Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick and some of the others in front. So far, fairly smooth stop. A little bit slower on that the left rear rather, and now Carl is gone.
Approaching the halfway mark, this time by 100 laps at Kansas, and you could really see during that round of stops that smaller nozzle on that fuel can, how much longer it takes to get the gas.
We watched 3 or 4 guys here waiting on fuel. They were done with the tires, so they were that's making a big difference.
Eric Almirola has inherited the race lead. Matt Kenseth, who has dominated throughout, currently scored in the 4th position in the middle of green flag stops here at Kansas. We're under green here at Kansas, but Jeff Burton has brought his car to pit road. What originally he thought might be a motor problem, well, listen.
Let's see, how do I switch batteries? Switch ignition box.
You switch ignition, not batteries. The battery dead?
How do I switch ignition boxes?
And normally there's a switch on your dash with an ignition box 1 and ignition box 2, and when something like that happens, that's the first thing that you go to. But he may not even ever been in this car before.
No,
so.
and that's the problem. You're driving. It's the difference between your Cup stuff and your Busch stuff. Things are in different places. You don't know where a lot of the switches are. But the other thing is, right before they went to that, you saw the guys lift the hood, and you saw the guys reach in, and they were spraying stuff. What they do, they spray stuff on the plug wires. And if the plug wire, if it evaporates off the plug wire, that means that's a hot cylinder. That wire's hot, it's okay. So if it doesn't, that means that's a dead cylinder. And what they were looking for, they were looking to see if it was a dead cylinder.
What do they spray on there?
You can spray like Windex or the window cleaner stuff. It's amazing. You watch these guys. There's a shot. I'm not good with the telestrator. Use the telestrator here. You'll see the guy in a minute. He'll move over here to the left side, and they'll go from plug wire to plug wire to plug wire. You see him reaching, just trying to see if a plug wire is off, if that's what the problem is. But that sounds like, when you heard that, that sounds like a typical ignition, not running at full song. As he backed off, it was okay at 4,000 RPMs. It was okay at 5,000 RPMs. But you'll see these guys, they'll reach in here, and it's too long a video, to be totally honest with you, for what's going on the racetrack. But towards the end of this shot, you'll see the guys, and they just go from plug wire to plug wire.
And yeah, well, that's interesting, because like when I'm at my place and I'm looking for a cold one, like my dad taught me, you grab onto it.
Yeah,
that's a hard thing to do.
That's a hard thing to do.
Because you know you're going to get shocked at least 7 times.
It will shock you. A lot of times you can do it with a plug wire, or you can do it with a little spray. A lot of times you can do it with a tire cream. Just put a mark on it. If it melts, that means it's hot. If it doesn't melt, that means it's fine.
But I'm starting to like the shock thing. So
yeah, the shock thing's
you get
good.
used to it after a while.
I like the shock thing too.
Oh, you guys are bad.
Casey Kane in that 9, Carl Edwards in the 60, trying to move around on the high side. Burton, by the way, has failed to finish his last 2 Busch races. At Bristol, had an accident, the brake problem at Dover. This would be his third straight DNF in the Busch Series. Update on Casey Kane from Marty.
Bill, a lot of times after you make an adjustment on these race cars, they're awfully hard to handle. Such is the case for Casey Kane. He said it feels like after the last adjustment we made, it's literally picking the left front tire up off the ground, and I have no left front as I go through the corners. That can't feel very good. Cars, as you would imagine, a little too tight.
And back here in the garage, Jeff Burton and the Holiday Inn crew members looking underneath the hood, taking the spark plugs out. Burton and his team talking about what could be wrong with this race car, Jeff. There's been a lot of different ideas. Can you zero in on it?
I'm sure something in the valve train. Holiday Inn Chevrolet was pretty good. We didn't have anything for those guys right then. Hopefully, this last change was going to be what we needed. But just something in the valve train. But that's, I don't know, had a lot of that lately. But these guys are working so hard. This ain't ran down the straightaway. And just a shame that it happened.
They're looking at the ignition boxes, looking under the hood, trying to figure out exactly what is wrong with this 29 machine, guys.
Thank you, Matt. There's Boyer on board with Carl Edwards. Boyer's in the 8th spot. Edwards is 9th. Kane has slipped back to 10th.
He's got a pretty good run right there. Wow. Whoa, Carl gets a good run.
So Edwards gets the position.
Whoop, gotta push it back.
Lindsay's over the line.
Yeah, he is. And Eric Almirola, man, this is exactly what he did not want to happen. Almirola was running first. This is just his 7th Busch Series start. His best finish so far in this series is 11th. He clawed all the way up from 43rd to 11th in this year's first Dover race. He said his car is way tight. They're making a track car adjustment, giving him 4 fresh tires. And now he's got to climb back up, guys.
No matter how good you are on the track, you have to be able to do it all, don't you? And you have to be able to land that car in that stall.
You have to be, to make time on pit road now, you have to make time from the center of 3 and 4 to the cone. You've got to make really good time there, and then you've got to hit your stall just right. And it doesn't make any difference because those few seconds that he was backing up, everybody else was running forward at 190 miles an hour.
That's exactly right. That's very tough. You lose so much time. It doesn't seem like that much, but 2 seconds on the racetrack under green is a ton.
And it cycles back to Matt Kenseth up front, with Harvick about 3 seconds behind, then Kyle Busch, Biffle, and J.J. Yaley after 114 laps at Kansas. Under green at Kansas, Matt Kenseth is the race leader. Our Energizer lap leaders, you can see Matt has had a fine day. Almirola currently 18th. That's 1 lap down. Harvick running in 2nd place, about 3.3 seconds behind the race leader. There's a lot of racing going on. This is Matt Kenseth, and that's 17. Mike Wallace, the 1, 5 laps down. There's J.J. Yaley in the 18. Boyer in the 2. Still watching your 18 car there, Alan?
Yeah, and he's been kind of fun to watch so far today, Bill. And by the way, it was drive of the day that I nominated him for before. You could tell that to somebody, I don't know. J.J. Yaley told his crew chief just after this run started that his car feels very, very good. Started like the way it felt when it started off after the pit stop. And his crew chief told him back, you are turning race-winning laps. Marty?
Behind them, Clint Boyer not having so much fun, Alan. He came on the radio a little while ago and said, man, this car is all over the place. It is crazy how we have to have this thing set up at the beginning of a run to make it work at the end of the run. Very loose for Boyer right now, doing his best to hold on to it and attach to the rear bumper of that 18.
He's in 7th. Yaley 6th, Carl Edwards 5th. Boyer going to try down low. He's going to get the position.
Yeah, look, the 18 backed way off there, up in the center of 3 and 4. get passed by the 19 now.
Yeah. And that's not for position. Marola is 1 lap down in the 17th spot. On board with Eric. Looking forward at JJ.
He is on better tires. A little bit better.
There's Harvick, about 4 seconds behind race leader Matt Kenseth. An update from Matt.
Back on his pit stop, Bill, lap 98. Kevin Harvick said he needed help most. The car was too tight in the center, and especially on exit. They made an air pressure adjustment. About 5 laps ago, Harvick came on the radio and said the adjustment the car does not like that air pressure change. Now you can see his crew chief Ty Berrier from the Nextel Cup team talking to his Busch Series team members about the air pressure changes they make, looking at the tire sheet, looking at the tires that came off the car, so they can look ahead to tomorrow, see if they can pick up any knowledge for race chase number 3 as they chase a Nextel Cup championship as well as the Busch Series title this season.
And Richard Childress Racing has won the last 3 Nextel Cup race and the first 2 races in the chase for the championship. But Matt Kenseth has had a dominating kind of day, similar to what he had last week at Dover. Now a report that NASCAR may be looking at debris on the racetrack. 126 laps are complete. Can tell you Denny Hamlin, you might have seen the 20 car a few laps ago. He's returned to the race. He's 27 laps down. Sauter in the 00 has returned. He's 29 laps down. And Todd Cleaver is also back on the track, 48 laps down. All involved in earlier incidents on the racetrack. Kenseth leads by 5 seconds over Harvick.
But a lot of guys a lap down.
They're just 13 on the lead lap right now. It's been fun watching some of those guys battling for that lucky dog, too.
Yeah, they've been racing pretty hard for it.
Really hard. Uh-oh. There it is.
We're straight. Don't go to the wall. Okay, good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, bring her in, boys. He just had a...
Chris Horn brings out the caution. 4th of the race.
I don't know if he touched him or not. Maybe.
On board the 38 car. Hard to tell there. So Horn comes to pit road. Caution is out with 71 laps to go. Matt Kenseth wins 68 laps between pit stops from lap 27 to lap 95. So they are basically right on the edge of the window. The lucky dog goes to Bobby Labonte. He will come around and be the 14th car on the lead lap, and pit road will be open. And with just 13 cars on the lead lap, obviously Bobby will be the 14th. They'll stop, get tires and fuel, and some guys will come back in and top off before we go back to green. We'll see how that works out. Coming around to complete lap 130, that would leave 70 to go. Kenseth, Harvick, Busch, Biffle, Edwards, the top 5. Then Boyer, J.J. Yaley, Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, Jason Leffler, the top 10. Field heads to pit road. We head to Marty.
Greg Biffle on the very edge of his fuel window, as you mentioned, Bill, but they think they can make it all the way from here. Car started to get a little bit tight at the end of that run. Quarter round of wedge at the left rear and a half pound on the right rear tire. Lindsey?
Marty, Kyle Busch is breathing a sigh of relief. He says, my car is so much better. They seem to have really struck onto a good balance, and they also are very close to their fuel window of 65, so they're going to pack it full and give 4 fresh tires. Matt?
Harvick in the center of your screen said the car was bottoming out on the cross member just slightly in the left front. They put the air pressure change back to how they originally had it, 14.2 to EV.
6 laps shy of making it on fuel was the message from Jimmy Fettig to Matt Kenseth. The 4-tire change, a ½ pound out of the right front, a ¼ pound into the right rear, the very minor chassis adjustments for the race leader.
Thanks, guys. So, 70 laps to go. Under caution. Right on the edge of the fuel window. We'll see what happens. They just crossed the line. Green flag just came out. 68 laps to go. Reed Sorensen, Paul Menard, and Jason Leffler all topped off just before we went back to green. Kenseth, Harvick, Kyle Busch. And pretty racy behind him. Edwards and Biffle there. Edwards on the inside, Biffle in the 16. Almost ran out of room there.
Yeah, while these guys are running side by side trying to make up some spots, the leaders are just driving off.
Top 3 cars trying to break away. There's Boyer in the 2.
Got one guy up against the wall there, the 88 car.
A difficult day for Shane.
He may have made some contact up there against the wall.
Some aerodynamic adjustments. Now the tire rub.
Lined up inside there. No more tire smoke.
Ashton Lewis Jr., Mike Wallace going to go by. There's Hamlin in the 20. Tony Stewart in the 33 car. Scored in the 15th spot. Matt, what's going on there?
Bill, he is dropping. Just came on the radio, told the 33 team he has an issue with the tire. Not sure at the moment which one it is. It might be the right front. He says, I have a tire that feels extremely low. The guys told him just to go ahead and bring it to pit road. Look for the 33, possibly to pit here next time by.
Oh, he's going to catch an advantage because the caution is out. Eric Amarola crashed in turn 2.
Okay. Got loose under that 4 car there, Doug. We got some pretty good damage there.
Yes, it has.
Slide back down here, but it doesn't look like we're going to go anywhere.
5th caution of the race.
That was pretty much in the middle of 3 and 4. I mean 1 and 2.
Right along.
And he starts to get loose.
Get out there. Hold on to it. Gas it now. Hold the brake. Hold the brake.
Even before the 4 car got there.
Hold the brake. All right, let it go. Let it go.
Just gets loose.
it looked like he just got loose getting in the corner. Then the 4 car got on the outside of him, and that didn't help matters, but he was already losing it before that.
Lindsay?
Yeah, Eric Almirola said that he was just way loose and he ended up running into car 4, and he said it's completely his fault. He's upset, obviously. This is not the kind of day that he wanted to have, but he said he's done, guys.
I'd like to give a shout out to Dave Burns. This is one of the best races he's ever covered.
You think so?
He's done a great job today.
Stephen Light is the lucky dog. Dinner is going to be a lot of fun tonight, race fans.
Matt Kenseth leads at Kansas. NASCAR Busch Series racing from the Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox, is brought to you by Star Motorcycle from Yamaha. We build it, you make it your own. By Banquet. And by Old Navy. 140 laps complete. Still under caution here at Kansas. A couple of guys have been on pit road to top off. David Rudman, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart also made a visit to pit road. Matt was just telling us that story before the caution came out. Here's the freecreditreport.com pit summary.
Yeah, that saved. If Stewart did have a problem, that saved him.
Yes, it did. Right now, Tony is scored in the 13th position. How about it, Matt?
Bill, right now, he just finished his conversation with his old buddy and teammate, Bobby Labonte. He was talking about some unique tire strategy they were working on the 33. They had the left sides on the rights and the rights on the lefts. He said he had about 20 degrees more wheel in it, but he told the team, no worries, I make more mistakes than you guys do just about every time I qualify. We've got plenty of time to make this back. Just hang with me. AB?
Well, you can imagine after what happened to Matt Kenseth in the Nextel Cup race at Dover last Sunday, when he knew fuel mileage was a question, he began asking about it on the radio. Jimmy Fennick told him during this caution, Matt said, you know, if we're going to be short, tell me, and I'll just go as fast as I can go. If I need to save, tell me. Jimmy said, we were going to hit the checkered flag on fumes until this yellow. I think we're going to be okay now.
Hey, Alan.
Yes?
Didn't Robbie Reiser say last week,
well,
I
that's
think
another,
okay?
Another whole story is whether the guy inside the race car is buying what he's being told or not.
Yeah.
You know.
Guess what? We'll all find out together.
Yes, we will. And I'm not betting that that's the last caution we'll see in this race either.
I'm with you on that. Third race of 2006 in the Busch Series that Matt Kenseth has led the most laps. Did it at Darlington, finished second. Did it at Lowe's, finished 38th after he lost an engine.
I like when they say, I'm pretty sure I think we can go all the way.
Look, I don't mind that one. What I like saying is what the guy said a minute ago. There's no more tire smoke. Just go ahead and go down in there. You're all right. Those are the ones I worry about.
Here we go. A lot of guys on that bottom line now.
Only 15 cars on the lead lap.
And as good as Kansas' car is, you can't mess around with these cars a lap or more down. You've got to go.
Here comes Kyle Busch, trying the high side on Harvick. This is for second. And Kyle Busch trying to clear Kevin. Update on the 5 from Lindsay.
Kyle Busch said that he feels he can go the entire way on the fuel that they have. He was just talking back and forth with his crew. They say they'll be fine unless there's a green-white checkered, and that would add more laps, obviously, causing them problems. Guys?
More drama, too. Busch gets the position. Wow. Looks like Bobby Labonte might have just got together.
Yeah, broke or something's dragging. Sparks coming out the back of that car. Or is that grass?
That could be grass. I don't know where that came from because he was almost in a dead stop there.
It's a 0 car smoking. There's a lot of grass on the apron along the front stretch.
Yeah, somebody's been out through there.
Somebody just mowed it.
There's 77 to the right of the screen.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he gets in the grass.
On board with Leffler.
Come on, Kay. Push the 7, gather away. Inside. Hold on to it. Hold on. Hold on. Keep coming. Stay where you are. Keep coming. Keep coming.
That's a good job. It's hard to do in the grass like that. Keep that car straight.
That was a good job by all of them to really just stay off of each other and keep their cars headed in the right direction.
Meanwhile, Harvick got around Busch, back into second. That's hard leaving the racing circles. Dropping down into that grass and then coming back up on.
You got to keep that wheel perfectly straight. Yeah, I mean, you can't move that wheel a little bit when you're going through the grass. You just have to let it float through it. And not really touch any pedals.
Not touch any pedals. You got to remember, those tires are hot. They pick up every bit of trash that's in that grass and bring it right back up on the racetrack. So by the time you dump it off in one, you don't have a lot of grip.
Matt Kenseth has led 127 of the 147. Can he lead the last one, or will he run out of fuel? We'll find out. TNT Sports live in Kansas City for NASCAR Busch Series Racing from the Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox. Matt Kenseth is just doing a number on the field. Leads by 2 seconds over Kevin Harvick. Let's take you through the field, through the top 10 or so. Alan, Kenseth just having a dream ride so far.
He is having one of those days that a driver just really enjoys. A car that does what he wants it to do. It's predictable for him on the racetrack, and it's faster than everybody else. Oh, by the way, under that last caution, Bill, Jimmy Fennig told Matt, what are your favorite things? He told him to use those long gears.
Oh, perfect.
That means he wanted him to save fuel, Matt.
Kevin Harvick running in the second spot in the 21 car. Now, Harvick was 2 laps short on fuel before the last caution. Shane Wilson thinks they are good to go now. Harvick says after about 5 laps, the car is really good. It's just Kenseth gets too far away. Lindsay?
Kyle Busch is right behind Harvick in the 3rd spot, and Kyle feels great in his car. They found that balance that they need. If he would get up and stay in the 3rd spot, he would be going for his first top 5 since April at Talladega. They feel they can go the whole way. They're just trying to avoid the green and white checkered. Marty?
Well, the hometown guy, Clint Boyer, was hoping for back-to-back wins, would love to win in front of these hometown fans, but right now he's in 4th with a car that takes a little while to come in, much like his teammate Kevin Harvick. In terms of fuel, they are good to go all the way, but quote, if we get a green-white checkered, we're dead. Alan?
For Carl Edwards, his fuel situation is very close to make the finish. He's running in the 5th position right now and is expecting his car's handling to improve if we get a long green flag run, but for right now, he's kind of hanging on to the back end, Marty.
Alan, Greg Biffle has finished 2nd in the last 2 Kansas Busch Series races, and he has a little bit of pedaling to do if he's going to get that done today. He said the car right now just not as good as it was earlier, so it just doesn't turn as good as it did earlier, and has stayed looser longer in this run. Fuel-wise, they are good to go to the finish. Also fuel-wise for Casey Kane, he too good to go to the finish. He said the car is loose in, a little lacking a little rear grip, but not as bad as it was. Hopefully it'll come in for him here in a little bit. Alan?
33rd to 8th on the day for J.J. Yaley, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's been told since this last restart, try the high line, try the low line. They're trying to judge where his lap times might be better than some of these guys he's trying to pass in front of him. Matt?
His beer is full of the 33 of Tony Stewart, who's good to go on fuel. Stewart trying to make his way back up through the field after pitting to get a change of tires. Meanwhile, the 41 of Reed Sorensen, working at his 8th top 10 in the last 15 races. They came back in after that lap 130 pit stop to top off for fuel. They're close.
Thanks, Matt. It's going to be interesting to watch how Tony Stewart's race unfolds here, because the caution saved him, sent him to pit road, gave him fresh tires, and topped off on fuel when most of the other guys stayed out, when he was almost in a situation where he was going to have to pit under green. See how dominant Matt has been. Harvick is a 2.5 back. Then it's another 2 seconds back to 3rd place Kyle Busch. That's the fact Matt wants to know. Yeah. Greg Biffle in the 16, Kane in the 9.
Kane's going to take that spot.
He's for 6th. Biffle back to 7. For a moment. You see Yaley closing in on those two.
Yeah, you can see how much Yaley makes up on Biffle, and Biffle's down on the bottom, and Yaley's just on that high line, has such a good run off the corners. Here, right in the middle is where the guy on the low side usually is a little bit quicker, but then right here, from here on, the guy on the high line just has so much momentum getting off the corner. You can see him close the gap.
How about Biffle, Marty?
Well, Bill, this is the portion of the run most of the day where Biffle's really gotten better. The end of the run, he starts loose at the beginning of the run, lacking some rear grip. Car comes in, he gets faster, but on this run, the car's just not coming in. Greg's saying on the radio, I don't know why it's not reacting like it did earlier in the race. All they did was make an air pressure adjustment on the last stop, but the car has completely changed. I think part of it, too, the racetrack's changing as well, guys.
Well, as Kyle said at the beginning of the race, he'll be changing throughout the day, today and tomorrow. Tony Stewart in the 33. That's his Sunday teammate in the 18, J.J. Yaley.
And Stewart was running the high line and then got blocked in behind Biffle. I think he just backed out and decided to let it sort out again because he's better up higher. His 18's about as high as you can get right now.
The 18, they both need to be running in the same place. And what's happened is Tony run these guys down so quick. Now he's caught him and he can't do anything with him because the 18's in his groove on one side and the 16's in the groove on the other side. I think finally the 18's just let him ease up in that position and see if he can get the 16 out of position and then follow him through.
Looking back at J.J. Yaley from Tony Stewart. Everybody looking to try and catch Matt Kenseth here at Kansas. We're under caution here at Kansas. A spin by David Rudiman, waiting to see if the leaders are going to come to pit road with 36 laps to go. Here comes Matt Kenseth and Harvick. Kyle Busch, they're all coming. Marty.
Clint Boyer running in fourth, hits pit road, and he said, you know what, the car is just way too loose for us to contend for the win. We got to do something. They're going to take a half pound of the right rear tire, trying to tighten it up a little bit. Lindsay?
Somewhere on the track, Kyle Busch just went into the wall before he pulled his car back in here. They were saying they were having problems. He had fender damage. They brought him in, topped him off with fuel, and he's away.
And the 21 of Kevin Harvick is in. Now they're going to go up on the air pressure all the way around every corner for the shorter run to the finish to AB.
Well, Matt Kenseth is not going to be the leader off of pit road because Kyle Busch has already gone by. A little slow on the rear tires for 17. Harvick may get him as well.
It's going to be close. 2 tires for Kyle Busch. And one car you're going to have to watch after this round of stops to see how fast the 33 of Tony Stewart is. Harvick gets Kenseth for second. They're behind Kyle Busch. A 2-tire stop. When the smoke clears, we'll go back to green at Kansas. Sony, the official high-definition television of NASCAR on TNT, takes your NASCAR experience to another level with Sony Full HD 1080, the world's most powerful HD experience. Working caution number 6 here at Kansas. And here's what brought out the caution. See Rudiman in the 99. Stephen Light gets by.
Looks like he just got loose. I mean,
it's down in turn 4.
Yeah, the 90 wasn't really that close to him to take the air off.
It was going to be big behind him, though, wasn't it? But those guys worked their way through it.
Yeah.
It was big behind him, just nothing happened.
Marty. Well, Dan Daringhoff is going to try to get a second straight win here, and fuel's not an issue, obviously, now, but that 17 is an issue. Can you get around him and get some distance on him, maybe?
I think if we jump out here at the beginning of this restart and get around him, we'll stand a chance, but he's been tough all day. Harvick's been tough. It'll be interesting to see how 2 tires does. I may should have done that. I was a little loose, and that would have tightened me up, but it's hard to do that when you're running in the position we're in.
Restart fourth, Matt.
The field will be given the 1-to-go signal now. Shane, can your 4 tires beat his 2?
Well, we're not sure. I mean, we gave it our best bet. We put 4 on, and just got to thank everybody at RCR. This car's been really good. It's a brand new car, a really good engine, and, you know, we'll see what happens. 17's real good today, but, you know, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a good race to the end.
Trying to knock down their 7th win of the 2006 season. AB?
with Jimmy Fennick, who is crew chiefing for Matt Kenseth. He's listening to his driver right now, and warning that his driver will have 31 laps left in this race to try and get in the front. Jimmy, what happened on the stop that knocked you back a spot?
The right rear just didn't get on. It looked like the right side didn't come up, and guy indexing the tire didn't get it slid on. But all in all, we've got a good day going with the Pennzoil car. Matt's doing an awesome job. We got a lot of laps left. See what happens.
You got a pretty good guy behind the wheel, so we'll wish you luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Lindsay.
Chad Walter is the crew chief for Kyle Busch. Initially, you said you guys weren't going to pit, so why the decision to make that last pit stop?
Well, honestly, everybody else came, so we didn't want to be a sitting duck out there. We put 2 tires on because we probably didn't have anything for Matt or Kevin, so the only way to get out in front of them was to take a gamble on 2 tires and get some clean air on the front of that low Chevy.
Chad Walter hoping they can hold on to the lead.
So you want to be the leader with 2 tires, or the guy third that's had the best car with 4?
Well, I mean, it's a good call. Like you said, they didn't have anything to lose on the 5 car. That's what you have to do. And you've got all these guys on the bottom, so that was a great move.
Yeah.
I still want 4 tires, but I mean, that was a good move to put him where he's at.
You want 4 tires anytime you can get them, but that was the move they had to make. In this race today, I just want to be Matt Kenseth. That's all I want to be.
31 to go. Only 16 cars on the lead lap. A lot of traffic down low.
That's the only thing you have to worry about in Matt's position. Having the fastest car and getting caught with lap cars racing 3 wide, getting in the corner and take you out, something that's not your fault.
Top 3 did clear the lap cars.
They're still trying to crash there.
Right about in here.
Yeah, these guys just, there again, you've got the guys that are on the lead lap, trying to get past these guys are a lap more down, and they've got to go. You can't waste time, because as you can see, the leader is already a few seconds out in front of these guys just after 1 lap.
There go the leaders. Racy pack behind them. That's Boyer that's bottled up back there in that 2 car.
Yeah, and you can see how much ground Boyer lost to these guys now. He's been trying to get past these cars. We got a car in the wall. Yaley.
J.J. Yaley. A lot of traffic coming around. Now we'll do it all again. That was Ashton Lewis that had Boyer bottled up back there. Maybe got a little too high?
Apparently, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it got a little loose on him, and he corrected, and when he corrected, he got too high. I don't think he was too high the first time, but you see him right here. You see it kind of right here, kind of bobbles a little bit, boom, he corrects, and there he's out in the loose stuff after that. Did a good job keeping it off the wall as much as he did.
So Yaley to pit road, under caution. Kyle Busch is the race leader. Under 30 to go at Kansas. NASCAR Busch Series racing from the Kansas Speedway, presented by the Marine from 20th Century Fox, is brought to you by the Marine, October 13th, only in theaters. By the Men of the Square and Miller Lite, good call. And by Energizer, keep going. I'll tell you what, they draw great race fans and in large numbers here at Kansas City. And most of these folks will be right back here tomorrow. And they will be here early tomorrow morning. A lot of tailgating here at the Kansas Speedway. Then they got 400 miles in the Banquet 400 tomorrow.
Race fans out here are like college football fans. They come early, they stay late. That's the way it is.
I think Wally's going to hang around with them this afternoon. Isn't that what you were talking about?
I hope they stay late.
They stay late, man.
We got a shot at getting back to the hotel tonight.
That's the best part. You can get in and out of the racetrack because they stay late.
Kyle Busch, the race leader. Then it's Kevin Harvick. Uh-oh. Now what? Yes, you're not allowed to park there, are you? I imagine.
It's been a lap back, I bet.
Yeah, there's a scoring error.
Or they're getting a lap.
Not sure. A couple of guys that accidentally passed the pace car, I believe, under an earlier caution. They squared the field before we went back to green. There are 17 cars on the lead lap. Ashton Lewis Jr., the lucky dog under this caution. Remember, he was racing very hard with Clint Boyer.
This is actually working in Kyle's favor right now. You know, he's not putting a lot of laps on those tires. He only changed rights. If he can get a good restart here and put some distance in between him and Harvick and Kenseth, it'll help.
25 to go.
Green flag.
That's what you want to do. You want to go into turn one with nobody around, so it's your racetrack. See, that just, it hangs up Harvick just a little bit.
Behind you, big red.
We got more cars in the wall.
Yes, we do. That's Stacy Compton in the 59, John Andretti in the 10.
Is that the 36 car? 38 car? Leffler? Yep. 38.
I was going to say, he's got an onboard camera. We might get a pretty good idea what happened here.
That would be hard to find the 36 car. Tim Sauter still in it? Yep. Okay, let's take a look. Just too many cars down there. Looked like the 10 car drifted up the racetrack there. John Andretti.
And the other two had no place to go, because once it's like we talk about Dover being a self-cleaning track. Any track that something comes from the bottom all the way to the top, it just wipes out everything behind them.
He goes way up the racetrack.
Way up. It's like it's almost like he clipped the apron a little bit and started up the racetrack.
Here's Leffler's view.
Look at. Stupid shit.
Now Leffler back on pit road.
It's a shame for Leffler in that group, because they hadn't had a great day, but they had had a pretty solid top 10, top 15 day. They had just been hovering right there, 12th, 13th, right along in there.
Stacy Compton, the walk to the ambulance. Marty?
Kyle's exactly right, Bill. They had a solid top 10 car all day long. They made some contact with Bobby Labonte earlier and damaged the right front fender. Jason obviously is extremely upset on the radio. They may have gotten the radiator as well because it's spitting out water on the car. They're going to try and limp around for these final few laps, but certainly not the day they were capable of with the top 10 car today.
So those guys will work on it. Frustrating for the driver. Under caution again at Kansas.
Put the gun down, John. I'm not gonna bury my son. My son is gonna bury me.
Academy Award winner Denzel Washington, John Q. Tonight at 8 on TNT.
Still under caution here at Kansas. A lot of cleanup. And that's the 59 car of Stacy Compton on a hook. Boy.
Wow.
That's, yeah, forget it. Matt?
Bill, we're down in the NASCAR Busch Series garage, just catching up with Jason Leffler. So take us for your ride from your vantage point, Jace.
I just saw the 10-lap car, Andretti go 3 wide, getting into one. I think he was on the apron. And Great Clips Monte Carlo was really good. We were hanging in there top 10. Good run for us. Yeah, that doesn't feel good when that happens, that's for sure. But the guys are working hard and had a good day going for us. I don't know if you call that a rookie mistake. I mean, he's running for Rookie of the Year, and do something like that. That's just the way it goes. That's racing.
Well, he does have the stripe here, his first full season of NASCAR Busch Series action. Thanks, Jason. Good to know he's okay.
Lindsay?
Steve Letard, crew chief for Jeff Gordon, is here hanging out in the pit of Kyle Busch. Steve, is this sort of a lesson for you today?
Oh, well, you know, I'm a relatively new crew chief, so anytime I can stand in a fellow teammates' pits and listen to how they call the race and adjust the car, I think hopefully will help us for Sunday. You know, they've worked a pit strategy here that's given them the lead. It'll be interesting to see if it holds on or not.
You told me that Kyle specifically is very good at sharing information. What does that do for you guys?
Well, I think anyone who has a Cup driver in the Busch Series, Matt Kenseth or Kyle, it helps. You know, the driver development guys are more working on their teams and their drivers, but with having a successful driver like Kyle in the car, it gives us good feedback to Sunday on how the track changed and what he thinks it'll do tomorrow.
Hey, and you know pretty well what a top 5 finish here would mean for Kyle today.
Yeah, I mean, they've run well all year long, but I know this mile and a half's been a little bit of their Achilles heel, and they've had a great car all day. I just hope it'll come through here at the end.
Okay, how about your car tomorrow? Tell me what you think your prospects are.
Well, you know, we worked on a lot of different things in practice, but it had a lot of feel like Chicago. Well, it's not great on new tires, but it seems to be pretty good on old tires. We just hope the race falls that direction, and hopefully the sun doesn't mess with us too much if it heats up.
Good luck tomorrow. Alan?
And of course, Jeff Gordon won that race in Chicago. Who do you think the most frustrated man on the racetrack is right now? Yeah, the guy driving that machine, because as these laps behind the pace car are winding out, his chances to pass the two guys in front of him are dwindling. Matt just talked to Jimmy Fennig, his crew chief, on the radio. He talked about the fact that it's really hard to pass Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick until they get a few laps on their tires and they start slipping, because the first few laps after the restart, they were pretty good. So the more laps they follow behind the pace car, the less optimistic Matt Kenseth is. He can take advantage of what's been the best car in the field today and take it to victory lane.
Thank you, Alan. Just 20 to go, and the cleanup continues. A lot of parts and pieces. It's Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Clint Bowyer, Casey Kane, the top 5. Talked about Bowyer being from about 100 miles from here.
A lot more, you know, pressure going to the local dirt track down the road and go to run with them guys. You know, that's a lot of pressure, and you know, having to you know, to go down there and try to beat the guys that you used to beat, or vice versa. You know, on their side of it, they're trying to beat an XL Cup driver and prove themselves. To be able to go to Lakeside and see them people, it's just been a long time. It's a lot of fun to go back there, and I feel like it's important.
And that was last night. Just going back to one of the many area tracks where he cut his teeth. How about it, Marty?
Oh, he's been having a lot of fun at Lakeside Speedway, places like that. But he told me before the race, I'm tired. I've been here 3 days, had all these friends and family. I'm entertaining people all week long. So tonight, it's a simple barbecue and my coach, 2 or 3 friends, my mom and dad, a couple people, and that's it. So Clint Bowyer's going to take it easy tonight before the next Hell Cup Series race tomorrow. Stacey Compton has come from the Infield Care Center. What was your view on that last accident?
I couldn't tell. I just knew we got 3 wide. Just got 3 wide and wrecked. I don't know. Just hated for the Kingsford Ford. These guys worked awful hard, and it's just been a frustrating year. Not sure what happened. Just wrecked.
All right, glad to see Stacey is okay and out of the race, though, Bill.
You know, see, Marty, that's when people have friends and family. That's what we have to go through. And I know
a lot of people, Wally.
You're not sure about all that.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you at dinner with one person last night, so I don't know what that says about you, Wally.
My favorite person in the whole world.
You?
Yep.
John Wood is the lucky dog. He comes around. He is the 17th car on the lead lap. The 18 to go. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth. Again, under the last round of stops, Kyle Busch took just 2 tires. Harvick and Kenseth took 4, but we haven't been able to run any laps.
2 or 4, it doesn't make any difference when you're under caution.
No, it
and
sure
that's where
doesn't.
we've been ever since they've had that. Ever since they made that pit call, ever since the other guys decided on their final strategy, we've just been under caution, so nothing's played out.
And as Alan was talking about, it's working against the 17th. This is working for the 5.
See, Stephen Wallace in that 64 car is 3 laps down. And the 4 car, Augie Vidovich, is a couple of laps down. These guys in the outside lane going to try and clear the lap cars in the inside lane.
Green, green, green.
Busch and Harvick are away. Kenseth
almost got clipped.
Yes, he did. Top 3 able to clear the lap cars. Harvick's going to make a run at Busch pretty early here.
Well, Harvick's got the better tires, and you know, that's where he's thinking, but he's got the 17 in his mirrors right now. once Harvick gets beside the 5, you'll see the 17 will just pull right up on both of these cars.
Look at the center of Harvick's hood, the way it's caved in right there from just the air, the turbulence that come up off that car in front of him.
For the lead.
Now this is where Kenseth should make up some time. If these guys stay side by side, Kenseth will be right there.
Busch leads the lap. Harvick on the inside. Here comes Matt. 16 to go. Looks like Harvick bobbled a little bit there.
And Matt's loving this.
What they're doing right now erased all those caution laps for Matt, because it absolutely puts him right back in the middle of everything.
Harvick gets the lead, and Kenseth closes in for second.
Now he's got to clear Kyle really quick. He needs to get around Kyle within the next lap or so.
Yeah, because Harvick will start pulling away from these guys if he doesn't.
Harvick has dominated the Busch Series this year. He's finished in the top 3 in the last 4 races, 16 times in 29 races in 2006. An update on the 5 car, who's just slipped to 3rd, Lindsay.
Yes, you're right, and Kyle Busch is very, very quiet when he's tense, and right now his camp says he is very, very tense. Crew Chief Chad Walter told me that he really doesn't think there's any way that he can hang with the top 2 cars just because they weren't able to find that balance early on that they needed. So he's trying his best, but they think a 3rd place finish is what's going to be in the cards for Kyle Busch.
And they knew that when they took the 2 tires. They had no other choice.
They had no other choice, but I'm going to tell you something. They represented themselves well. They stuck it out there in front with 2 tires. Kyle did a great job driving. It was a great call in the pits. And, you know, they knew going in they were going to settle for 3rd or 4th or try to win, and that's what they came for.
Now the question is, can Kenseth catch Harvick with 13 to go?
And I'm going to tell you something. Harvick stretched him a little bit here in these last couple of laps, and that's been surprising. I don't know if it's the clean air that he's got right now that he's able to run where he's running, but he has absolutely put 4 or 5 car lengths more on him since he cleared the 5 car.
Well, Harvick right now is running exactly the same line that Kenseth is using. So yeah, he could have got up there, could have got into that aero push.
There's Boyer and Kane. That's for 4th. They're closing in on Kyle Busch for the 3rd spot.
Kyle pretty much just hanging on out there right now. I mean,
wants it to be over.
Yeah, he's sliding around a lot.
Kane on the high side now. Update on the 9 for Marty.
Well, Casey Kane, after that last caution, Bill, said he went down into turn 1 on the first green flag lap, turned left, and the car went right. He said it just did not have any front grip at all. Completely different than what they've been for most of the second half of this race. For Clint Boyer, somewhere in that mix, he said his car is too loose, and no way I can keep up with those guys in front of me. Matt?
What a team effort by this 21 team. A 2.5 lead now over Matt Kenseth. A great call in the pits for the 4 tires, but a great job by the over-the-wall guys to get them out in front of the 17. Harvick working on his 27th single-digit finish this season. Hey, and if you take one look at the points, sure, he came in with 699-point lead, but you throw in the 75 points that he lost due to 2 penalties, it would have been 774 points. Incredible coming in here at Kansas. Alan?
Well, Matt Kenseth knows what the slim difference between winning
got trouble. AB up in 3 and 4. Casey Kane's in the wall. 3rd place car. And we saw a lap before that he was loose. He was fighting it up there in 3 and 4 when he went to get around Kyle Busch in the 5 car.
Ninth caution of the day. Casey in the 9, and there it goes.
Almost an exact replay of the 18 car. Goes in, just barely gets above that little black seam in the asphalt there, and it just jumps, and when he goes to correct, it comes around.
Yeah, Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to use all the racetrack to catch the car, and you're turning it, and then you get into that loose stuff, and that's it. When you do that, it's over.
Go low, go low, go low.
He's on board with Tony Stewart. There's Kane's car. Casey is the pole sitter for the Banquet 400 here tomorrow for the Nextel Cup Series. Send him back out. Try and nurse it around here. Not quite the finish that he had a year ago. The race for the win and the victory for Casey Kane. Not to be today. That's not going to be fun to drive around.
No, it's not.
Even with a handful of laps left. Just 8 to go right now.
Well, he's still on the lead lap, I believe.
Yep. Tell you that this really benefits Matt Kenseth. He'll be able to pull up on the bumper of Harvick, be a single file restart. And Boyer will be right there as well, although his car has not been nearly as strong as Matt's. And with Harvick leading, you have to point out just how Richard Childress Racing has dominated in Nextel Cup and Busch. They've won the last 5 races combined in Cup and Busch.
The thing is with Kenseth, I don't know. I mean, because Harvick is running that same line. I don't know what Kenseth is going to do if he gets to him.
Yeah, I don't know what Kenseth, you know, obviously we're not sitting there in the car with him, but Matt has hammered that bottom for the first third or 2/3 of a run every time. Then the last 10 or 15 laps of a run, he goes to the top. Harvick, on the other hand, has been all over the racetrack. He's run low, he's run high, he's been everywhere. But right now, he's in Matt's groove, and it's going to be Matt's job to try to figure out a way around him. Because I doubt Harvick even thinks about coming off that white line.
Mirror driving?
I wouldn't call it mirror driving.
I would call it blocking.
Blocking. But it's legal. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. I'm going to tell you something. You got to get everybody who follows the sport, whether it be Busch or whether it be Cup, their hats have got to go off to the Childress organization totally, from where they were last year to where they are this year. Their engines, their cars, their pit crews, everything. They've taken a huge step forward.
Fuel getting the 1 to go. At Richmond, Harvick won the Busch race and the Cup race. At Loudon, Harvick won the Cup race. And we went to Dover. Boyer won the Busch race. Jeff Burton won the Nextel Cup race. Last 5 races have all been won by a team from Richard Childress Racing. There's RC. He's got another car out front right now. And he also has the leader in the chase for the championship. Yeah, it's a great story, Kyle, what Childress Racing has done to come back like that.
It really is. It's an incredible story, because I'm going to tell you something. If you go back 12 months, if you go back 18 months, those guys were really struggling hard. I think Jeff Burton goes a long way. He went in there and told them some things and looked at them and became a team leader. I think he's done a great job there. At the same time, I think Harvick has matured a ton as a driver. And as a driver and as a leader, obviously by his own teams, but it shows on what the whole Childress organization can do with those guys.
Get the green this time. Be 6 laps to go. Single file restart. Harvick, Kenseth, Boyer, Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart, the top 5. Oh! Somebody jumped up. That was Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Looked like Harvick really brought him down under a slow restart. Harvick's car, and we got more guys wrecking.
Big wrecking, too.
We're running out of cars here.
Danny O'Quinn in the 50. A lot of debris.
We may just get down to a green, white, load them on the truck.
Yep.
We may not get to the checker.
It's like Stephen Wallace tagged the 47 of John Wood.
Right.
That's what started it.
Before that happened, though, everybody really, if you watch them go down in the corner, they were all giving each other room. A guy made a move, and you see him kind of check up a little bit, and Stephen just gets in the back of the 47.
And that's the, is that the 30 car?
It's the 30 car
that's in the 50.
Yeah.
It's Mike Bliss in the 30. Watch the 5 car. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he just anticipated it a little bit too good.
Wow, nice move there.
It's almost like anticipating something that never happens.
The leader's in control of the race, and the restart's in the vicinity where NASCAR tells the drivers in the driver and crew chief meeting. But if you're the leader, you want to start one way one time and a different way the next and try and mix it up, right?
You don't want to ever do the same thing twice, just because that's when people start expecting something. So yeah, you change your spot a foot or 2 feet, or one restart bring them down fast, and the next one bring them down very slow. But I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like the 17 of Matt Kenseth has just lost the handle on that car in these last 25 or 30 laps.
Either he's lost the handle, or the 21 has picked up a ton of grip and can really fly, because he really jumps off that corner. You talk about on a restart, especially at this point in time in the race, when you get down to the last 10 or 15 laps, if you're the leader, it's like being a pitcher. You show him a curveball one time, you show him a fastball, you pitch him inside, you change your stuff around, and you have to pitch at him. You can't just start at the same time.
Alan, how about that 17?
Well, I can tell you, if he feels like he's lost the handle on the car, he certainly hasn't said anything on the radio about it to his crew chief, Jimmy Fettig. In fact, the only thing Matt said on the radio in recent times was after that wreck happened behind him on the restart, he said, you know, we race all day without running into each other. How come we can't get through 20 laps now? Matt?
Some conversation back and forth on the Harvick radio. Now Harvick and his spotter were talking about the restart. Harvick got a great jump, pulled him by about 2 car lengths, but his spotter said that Kenseth did something different on his entry. Just to be aware of that on the next time, in case he's trying to change things up a little bit on you as we close in on the checkers.
Matt Clint Boyer, his teammate, really needed some green flag runs here, because his car starts loose in a run, and the longer they run under green, the better his car gets. So unfortunately, he's under caution for all these laps. That's not helping his handling, though. Although he knows his teammate in the 17 might get together here, he may wind up being a very lucky man. Lindsay?
Remember when I was joking before the race, talking about how Kyle Busch said that his crew can get through anything and they'll come out in one piece? You guys remember that?
Yes.
Okay, well, he just came on the rodeo and was joking around and just said, guys, I think I've hit about every turn and every straightaway on this racetrack. So obviously, he's in better spirits. He's broken the tension that he felt a little bit.
Got to keep your guys loose. The field has gotten the 1 to go. Be green next time by. This is the 10th caution of the race. That would tie the Kansas record held by 2003 and 2005.
They were talking about that last restart and what Kenseth did. If you saw it, Kenseth just entered the corner late. He just tried to enter the corner a little bit higher and sweep back across the corner and late apex the corner to get a run down the backstretch. But I'm telling you, Harvick got a run up off 2 and put 2 car lengths on him, so it didn't help anything.
Kevin Harvick has 6 wins in the Busch Series this season. Last time a driver had 7 or more wins, 1998. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had 7. Harvick's going for number 7, but he's got number 17 behind him. And that car, Matt Kenseth, has led 145 of the 197 laps. There's going to be 2 to go when they get the green this time. Pace car to pit road.
And this is where you got, when you're the leader, you got to look in your mirror and make sure that that 17 doesn't lay back too much to get a run on you on the restart. Boy, he almost did right there. He laid back a little bit, Kyle. I don't know.
Matt got a great restart right there.
Boyer hanging tough in the 2, and then Kyle Busch. Lap and a half to go. That's where Kenseth has been good all day, right through the middle.
Right through the center, but right there, he just jumps on the gas so hard he pushes up a little bit up off 4, and he loses about 2 car lengths. And I'm going to tell you something. Catching Kevin Harvick and getting around Kevin Harvick's 2 totally different things.
Last lap.
Kyle Busch on the outside of Boyer.
For third. Kenseth, one more shot at Harvick right here. But he's not going to get him. The domination of Childress Racing in NASCAR continues. Kevin Harvick wins at Kansas.
Awesome job.
Tony Stewart gets Boyer at the line on the flat.
7th win of the season for Harvick. 17th finish in the top 3. His 5th straight top 5. His 24th win in the Busch Series. That ties him with Tommy Houston for 3rd all-time. 19th win for Chevy, 9th by Richard Childress, and a very happy crew chief, man.
They brought out some new stuff here this weekend, Bill. Can you breathe now? How nervous were you?
Oh, you know, definitely nervous. The Coast Guard Chevrolet was really good today, and pit crew did an awesome job there getting us out. Getting out in front of that 17, those guys were good, and just an awesome day for RCR.
And that's what Kevin Harvick said on the radio. The pit stop on pit road that got us out in front of the 17 was the moment.
He's had a lot of practice at that.
He's getting pretty good at it, really.
Yes, he is. And winning, too.
I think he sits at home and practices writing his name doing that.
So Harvick celebrates, and here's what you guys are watching, too, behind the leaders. Watch Tony.
Yeah, he just had a good run up in 3 and 4. The 5 car kind of squeezed Boyer down a little bit. He lost a little momentum, and yeah, Stewart just had momentum.
He had the momentum, and you got to give it to Boyer. Boyer gave him the room to stay on the asphalt and not run him out through the grass.
Right.
There's Richard Childress. Looking for victory lane. Catch up with his driver. Lindsay.
I'm with Kyle Busch, who just climbed out of his car. Kyle, you just made an impressive pass to take over the 3rd position. Your car looks more like you're on a short track than a mile and a half here. Tell me, though, was it when you ran into the wall in lap 158, when you rubbed against it, that basically took your car from being a race-winning vehicle?
No, I don't think we ever really had a race-winning car today. I mean, the 17 was the best here, 21 was 2nd best, and we were just hovering around there in 3rd all day with the Lowe's Chevrolet, and just tried to make the most out of it there and during that run, and I just got a little bit high, brushed the fence, but you know, it got us really tight there, and when everybody came down pit road, I was proud to see that, because then that gave us an opportunity to pull the fender out and put some right sides on it. We didn't have any stickers set, so I don't know how fresh ours were compared to everybody else's, but strong run by the team. Thanks to everybody at the shop for rebuilding this thing, and this is just another process that we have to go through to try to get better.
Kyle Busch celebrates his first top 5 since April in Talladega. Alan.
With Matt Kenseth. Matt, what do you say? You led 145 laps, wound up position short.
Yeah, we've been doing that a lot lately for some reason. So, yeah, we led a lot of laps. It just didn't lead the right one with our Pennzoil Platinum Fusion. But, you know, it's encouraging. Our cars have been so fast. You know, Jimmy Fenning's really worked hard. He's really got this whole Busch program, you know, all the guys, you know, running better. And, you know, I'm real thankful for that. We just can't quite get them at the end, you know, for some reason. So we just had all them cautions, just didn't have enough time to get them.
All right, good run today for Matt Kenseth, and we go to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Stewart climbed out of the car, and what did you say? That was fun? How much fun?
A lot of fun. I mean, that's the first time I've ever really been able to really get going on the top like that. So it was a lot of fun today. It was my last race for Kevin and Delana for the year, and I just want to thank Old Spice and the Outdoor Channel and Wally Rogers and Rick Corelli and everybody at KHI. They've done such a great job this year, and you know, Wally and Kevin have been working together and changing the cars around a lot. So from where we started at the beginning of the year to now has been huge improvements. I mean, you look at, you know, where we're at as far as a smaller team compared to the super teams than Busch. You know, I'm so proud of these guys. And granted, it's Kevin Harvick, but you know, it's still different than racing with the Roush cars and Hendrick cars and Gibbs cars. So really proud of these guys. They did an awesome job today, and thank the Old Spice people again.
He said he'd rebound from the tire issue, and he certainly did. Tony Stewart, fourth here in Kansas.
Thanks, Matt. Kevin Harvick in a very familiar spot. He's down in victory lane. Here's Marty Snyder.
And Bill, I think we might be able to relabel the month of September the month of RCR. Incredible 6 straight wins for Richard Childress Racing. Kevin, have you ever been part of dominance like this before?
I tell you what, this is really, really awesome for everybody at RCR. This is a brand new car, came with a new engine package. We've been okay on the mile-and-a-half stuff, and you know, we just felt like we needed to be better. And so we built a brand new car, built a new engine package, and you know, these things were just awesome today. So just got to thank the Coast Guard, Snap-on, everybody on this car, Richard Toccato, everybody that helps us.
I know that the pit stop at the end was important, but I mean, tell me that last restart with the 17. Were you watching the mirror, or were you driving out the windshield?
Well, I didn't get I tried to mix up my restarts there, but he got a good restart on the last start, and I was able to have the clean air and drive it in there. But the pit stop is what won the race. These guys came into the pit second, come out first, so it was a great day. Just tried to keep that Dollar General car out of victory lane on the wrong car.
Yeah, exactly. And for this man, what does it mean to bring him so many wins, Kevin?
Well, I think just to know what he's done with his company, and to have the faith in me, and you know, we have great teammates and great cars, and all these guys are getting along so well that you know, it's hard to beat, and when we're all working together. So glad everything's working our way, and it's been a lot of fun.
When was the last time you guys were this dominant, Richard?
Well, I can't remember. I don't think we ever have. It's just great to see all the faces on everybody, and see how hard their hard work paying off. It's just great, man.
And then now the last time you won a Busch Series race, you won the Cup race the next day. What about tomorrow?
Well, I tell you what, our Cup car is really good. This thing was really good in practice, but our Cup car is, you know, really good in practice. So we just made all the right decisions today. We never turned a jack screw on this thing and just did air pressure here and there. So it was a lot of fun. The track really widened out today, and we were able to move around, so it was pretty cool.
7 wins this year for Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch comes in to give a congratulatory handshake, and RCR is doing pretty good lately, aren't they, Bill?
I think they're on a roll, Marty. 6 straight wins for Richard Childress Racing. While Harvick now leads by 729, it's 190 points maximum. That's 4. He basically has a 4-race lead. And he laid out the next 4 races. He'd, you know.
Kyle, we would, wouldn't we? I would.
I mean, that would be fun.
I just,
hey, come on, guys, catch me.
I just set up a pit down there with a Coca-Cola cooler in it and a lounge chair, and just watch everybody run the last 4 races.
What kind of cooler was that?
Coca-Cola, man.
Good plug. Way to go. You're learning it down.
He knew we weren't doing it on camera, so he wasn't going to get this way again.
Kyle, thanks for being here. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you guys for having me.
Tomorrow on NBC, it's the Banquet 400. Just 8 races remain in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Casey Kane will lead the field to the green flag. Coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern Time with the Bank of America Countdown to Green. That's tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern on NBC. Next on TNT on the East Coast, it's Out of Time. And on the West Coast, don't miss Backdraft. Thanks for having us in for the race. We'll be back here tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time, as the chase for the Nextel Cup races on.
This copyright